Chico, finally, I guess you got him into the starting lineup for the first time, and certainly it seemed like he had earned that. But why? I guess just why? What was the decision to pull the trigger to get him in that starting five?
Well, Daquan was out for the game with an ankle injury, and Chico's had really a consistent offensive season for us. He shot the ball extremely well from three. I think you see him able to, especially against that press, create off the dribble, and it's really helped us from an offensive standpoint go into more of the 2-point guard lineup that we've played pretty much exclusively over the last 8 games. So I think his consistency shooting the ball has been terrific, especially from behind the 3-point arc. And it's just he's really shooting the ball at a high level.
You have guards right now, and guys like whether it's Daquan or Deontay or Chico, that watching them get to the basket, it seems like they don't necessarily have to go around guys to score, that they can just go straight at guys and just overpower them to the rim. And I don't feel like that's something you've had maybe a lot of, and you just have a lot of it this year. Is that a fair assessment that they've been able to use that strength to their advantage?
I think so. When you talk, and it's a good mix for us, Jeff. I think when you see the strength and the power, the explosiveness that Chico and Deontay play with off the dribble, and their ability to finish around the basket with strength, and then Justice Hill coming off the bench with the speed and quickness he has, I think he's really improved his ability to run the team. And I think that's been a big key for us. You look at Saturday's game, Justice had 5 assists, only 1 turnover against the full court pressure. So I like the balance of our guards. I think you're always, regardless of league or level, it usually comes down to having great guard play. And I think we've made a lot of improvement there over the last 8 games.
In terms of, and I guess it's been feels like we've talked about this for 3 months now, just the consistency word, and you guys just being able or not being able maybe necessarily to kind of stack wins on one another. And we've seen the glimpses of, I think, what this team can be, whether it was at SEMO, whether it was Saturday at EKU, but then you kind of get these disappointing performances sandwiched in. Is there a magic formula to make that, to get that solved? But I suppose if there was, you would have solved it already. But do you feel like you're getting closer to that?
No, I do, Jeff. I feel like we've gotten a lot better as a team. You look at over these 8 games, I think we're 140 assists to 86 turnovers, which we were horrendous turning the ball over prior to that point. So to be under 11 turnovers a game over the last 8 games is certainly a sign of improvement. I think the consistency, and we're all going to have a bad game here and there, but the consistency with which KJ Williams has played over that stretch, I think he's right around 18 points and 11 rebounds a game in that stretch. We've shot the ball much better from 3-point range over that stretch, a lot more consistent. Saturday, for the first time, we were the more successful team in getting to the free throw line, and we converted and made big free throws on Saturday. So that was certainly a sign of progress in an area we still have a long way to go to get better at. But I think that's when you're trying to get better and play with more consistency. I think the way you do that is just by playing winning basketball, which is eliminating mistakes on offense, the turnovers that have led to easy points for the other team. I think it's winning at the free throw line. It's winning the rebounding battle and eliminating the defensive breakdown. So we're just going to continue to stay focused on those things and try to keep getting better as a team.
For all of those turnover issues you'd had, at least earlier in the year, was it maybe doubly reassuring to play a team like EKU that just tries to speed you up so much, and for you guys to be able to have been as successful as you were against it?
Oh, I mean, it was a big key to the game, Jeff, in addition to our defensive effort. But, they're a team that forces over 20 turnovers a game, and then they really feed off those turnovers. You see it lead to 15-0 runs and dunks and open threes. And even though we had 14 turnovers, we ended up tied in the turnover battle, 14 apiece. We had 18 assists, which was really good. And then just eliminating some of those live ball turnovers. Like if you look back at our Eastern Illinois game where we handed the ball to them, that led to breakaway dunks and layups, and eliminating those live ball turnovers was really good for us. We've got to continue to make progress in that area.
Off the path a bit, and we haven't spoken about it, but with EKU leaving, I guess the conference is. Any thoughts on that? And I know you guys I know you'll see them down the road at some point, and sure. I don't imagine it'll be the last time you ever play Eastern Kentucky, but just them and Jacksonville stepping out of the conference.
No, I really don't have any thoughts on it. My entire focus has been on trying to help our team get better, and that's the only thing outside of family I've been focused on, and will continue to be focused on this next month.
SEMO coming in again. You've had some instances this year of playing teams kind of back to back almost, and it's another case of seeing them very recently. How does that change, I guess, preparation, if at all? Do you have to try to maybe pull some other stuff out of the playbook, or is it just let's do what we did 10 days ago and just continue to execute at a high level?
Well, I think you have to be prepared for any adjustments they might make. We shot the ball exceptionally well from three at their place. I think we were 6-11 from behind the arc in both halves. And some of them were on pick and pop threes for KJ. So you try to prepare for any adjustments you might see. But there were areas in that game we've got to be much better as well. We didn't score the ball very efficiently from 2-point range. We did a decent job of keeping them off the free throw line. But as you look at the games, they've had great success this year. They've shot over 30 free throw attempts a game in their wins. And so I think being disciplined at the defensive end of the floor, defending without fouling, those will be key areas again. But it is, I think, the second time in 10 days. So guys should be familiar with each other. But we know we'll have to play well again, because we were very consistent over there at their place. Put two good halves together, 20 assists, only 8 turnovers. Thought defended pretty well. But then you look at the second half, Jeff, we after holding them to 1 of 12 from 3 in the first half, I think they were 7 of 11 in the second half. So we've got to do a much better job. Reed really hurt us from behind the arc in the second half.
In terms of KJ, it's felt like from even his freshman year, he kind of dipped his toe a little bit in that I'm a 3-point shooter, and it was more of, look, you can shoot it when you're open and your feet are set, and that seemed to be a little bit of a struggle. This year, it feels like every three he takes, he's 10 feet open, and it almost seems amazing how he can kind of get lost at the top of the key, and it's just he's in rhythm. And are you happier with him in terms of, regardless of the results, but maybe just in terms of his shot selection, that when he's pulling the trigger, that feels like the quality of shots he's taking this year have been better overall?
No, I think so. I think that's why he's always shot such a high percentage from 2 or 3. I think his shot selection's really good. I want him taking the open threes. I think we've talked about it before, Jeff. Just the way basketball, whether it's college, NBA, has evolved. It's hard to play with just 2 big 6'8", 6'10" centers at the same time who can't shoot the ball. It's just the way the game has evolved. So it really adds to our offensive efficiency when he's able to get open looks from behind the arc. I think he's done a really nice job, especially late in the shot clock. of getting open threes and knocking them down. So I think it's just a matter of having good balance. He's such a good scorer down on the block. And I think something that's really helped him over this stretch, Jeff, the 8 games here, is his effort on the offensive glass. He's just creating his own points by chasing offensive rebounds and getting 2 or 3 putbacks a game. I think that's really been important for him and then obviously for our team.
I think back to last year's home game with Eastern Illinois, and there was the play where, he ran all the way back on defense and saved it, and then comes running all the way back and gets the offensive putback and scored. And you said at the time, you sort of downplaying the moment in a way, but saying that's the way I want our guys to play all the time. And it seems like he's found that switch now, where it's more consistently at that level you want him at. Is that fair?
No, I think so. I mean, that was to me a program defining type sequence. That's what you want your team to represent. The multiple effort plays, to chase down a play and get a steal, and then to sprint the other way and go chase a rebound out of your area and finish it in traffic. And, I think you see us trending more in that direction. I think Jackson Civils has made a couple great multiple effort plays in our last 2 games, and that becomes contagious. And I talk about it all the time, and I always want the focus on all the success we've had to be on the great players we've had. There have been some amazing players come through here, but I think at the foundation of the program, it has to be that you play with relentless effort, that you play with great toughness, that you make multiple effort plays, and then you finish that off with a lot of unselfishness at both ends of the court. And I really believe in that as a winning formula. So I think we're trending more in that direction, and that's very welcomed for our team and for our program, because that's what we believe in. It's who we are, and it needs to be on display at all times. I think, to finish up a thought on KJ, I think another part of it is just the maturity he's shown to stay out of foul trouble. And we need him on the floor. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The numbers reflect that. We need him on the floor, and I think his conditioning is improved. I think his decision-making to stay out of foul trouble is improved, and it's helped us become a better team.
I try very hard to not get too worried about small picture things, snapshots from one game or another, but just to look at minutes with Deontay the last 2 nights. I think it was 12 minutes in both of those games. Was there anything in particular? He didn't seem to be in foul trouble. Wasn't turning the ball over. Was it just Chico's playing well, we're going to ride him? What should we expect with him moving forward?
Well, I think on Saturday, we were in desperation mode from foul trouble at the point guard position. Yeah. I think Deontay had 3 in the first half. Justice had 2. He got his 4th one really quickly. Deontay, that is. Justice got his 3rd one quickly. So we were able to move Chico over and play some point guard as well on Saturday. But no, I think he's done a great job. The strength, his ability to get into the paint, the unselfishness that he plays with. He gets the ball where it needs to go, talking about Deontay. And I think that's been a big reason for our improvement. I think Justice has been much improved running the team, and his assist-to-turnover ratio reflects that. We need both of them to shoot the ball at a more consistent clip. But I think both are playing very good basketball for our team right now.
And just Juice, I guess just last question with him, just is he comfortable now? I mean, do you feel like he's kind of understanding, he understands what you want, he understands what he can do, maybe what he should do? It felt like early in the year he was just kind of that, he was going 100 miles an hour and he was trying to make stuff happen. Well, maybe it's like, hey, let's just drop it back a little bit.
No, I think so. I think he's getting more comfortable. I think has a better understanding of not only the offensive system, but of the personnel around him and where the ball needs to go and when. I think he's got an elite quickness and speed at the point guard position, which you saw on full display in breaking the press on Saturday at EKU. You also have seen at the defensive end of the floor with his ability to pressure the ball out front. And again, this is, I've mentioned it, these are not excuses for anyone. Every team in America faces this. But I think when you look at a lot of newcomers, a normal 6 months of preparation going into the season, depending on the team, has been, I think in our case, was a little bit less than 3 months. So was cut in half there. So I think the transition was a little bit tougher for him, but I think he's really settled in nicely and is helping our team play at a higher level now.